Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dream Oracle for You. This is episode 20, and today we are very excited to kick things off to talk about all things dreams from one of the experts. Her name is Melissa Johnson, and she is from the Dream Hub, and she'll introduce herself in a few minutes. Biljana, do you have anything you'd like to say for today's episode, which I'm really excited about?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm really excited to have Melissa on, an Aussie, which is exciting.
Oi,
And
oi, oi.
yeah, yeah, and I'm just excited to yeah, hear what she has to share. I've been listening to a couple of your interviews, and I go on your website and just have a look and see what you're offering. And also, yeah, the when I see you had the night nectar, I was like, oh, that's cool because I'm into like herbal stuff as well. So it was quite cool to see that. So I'd love for you to share whatever you want to share, and yeah, looking forward to the chat. So Melissa, if you'd like to introduce yourself for those that don't know you, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Like they said, I'm Melissa Johnson, and I'm a dream therapist and teacher on the Gold Coast in Australia. And I started this because I was having debilitating nightmares. And I had no idea of the power of dreams and that nightmares were trying to tell us something. I thought they were just torturing me every night, and I couldn't deal. So I started looking into it, and I discovered lucid dreaming, and wow, it was so powerful in healing me and guiding me in my life that I felt that this is something that everybody needs to know about. So I basically quit my job, studied for about 5 years before teaching it to others. And it's magical. And yeah, it's something that really drove me and I'm really, really passionate about. So I'm really excited to share that. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming here. And I'm so excited that to hear your journey of, having to overcome nightmares and using lucid dreaming as a tool to do that, because that resonates really strongly with myself and Biljana because it's something we've been talking a lot about in the last few episodes for sure about this. So we're really excited for our listeners to hear this. Yeah, Biljana, you have something you want to say in response?
Yeah, that's yeah, fascinating because same with me. Like I had a lot of nightmares growing up, and even to like in my early 20s, and I associate that now with a lot of stress in my life as well. So it's really linked to that, and the more I suppose, unraveled and became more confident in myself, the nightmares become less and less because I was less stressed. So that's quite good to hear that. How did you find out about lucid dreaming?
I was Googling it, unfortunately, but I really kind of jumped in the deep end and started just doing it myself and knowing like next time I have a nightmare, I'll know I'm in a dream. But because I didn't have any guidance on what to do, I was really just winging it. And it was quite exhausting because then I was trying to fight back, the characters and the monsters and things like that. And although it was empowering, I'd still wake up. Like it took a lot of energy and it took a lot of effort to do that. And so then I discovered through Robert Wagner that you're meant to show the characters love because they're parts of you. So when I learned to do that, it was a lot easier, so much smoother. And then I did a whole 6 months with Lana Sackwild in the Lucid Entrepreneur Lab, and she taught me about asking questions like to the dream, having a plan, how to stabilize the dream once you're in it, all these little tips and tricks. So instead of using it as like I don't know, like a safety, like, quick, I'm just in a dream and then trying to figure it out. I was really excited to try to induce the lucid dreams and I had a plan of action of what I was going to do. So that was really like calming and yeah, it gave me a lot of strength within the dream space. So yeah, it's been really interesting.
Yeah, cool. You said you're a dream therapist. So is there like studies that you can do for that?
Yeah, yeah. So I went through a college and I got a diploma in dream therapy. And it was very like psychological based and using Jungian aspects. And, you learn about how to counsel people and be a therapist. But then I also was taught under Dream Shaman Robert Moss. So that was like a very spiritual side and how you can use like active dreaming and go back into dreams. And we did a lot of sort of dream interpretation as well. So then I was able to value, all different types of dreams because everyone thinks that lucid dreaming is like the ultimate and that's the best thing. And that was helpful for what I needed at the time, but it sort of devalued the other types of dreams. And I think that they're all just as valuable as each other. And learning that you can do like active dreaming is where like you can lay down and just bring up a dream within 5 or 10 minutes. You don't need to be in deep REM sleep. You sort of trust what comes up for you. You use your imagination as a stepping stone to go in and get some visuals and things like that. So yeah, I found it all really interesting and really eye-opening that there was so much that you could do with dreams.
Yeah, and I guess it's more becoming more aware of yourself, like with the lucid dreaming, understanding different aspects of the different types of dreams. It's just understanding yourself a lot more. So it's not to discount anything. So yeah, I like that you break that up. So yeah. Do you have
Yeah,
anything you'd like to say, Sarah?
yeah, so much good content here so far. I'm so excited for this episode. Um, I think I wanna just bring back to kind of like your introduction and talking about um, how dreams can be like a therapy for helping you grow as an individual and things that you need to work on. And for myself personally, it's kind of why Biljana and I have started this podcast is that dreams we feel that dreams really do mean something more. And for all my life, I've had a dream and I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting dream. What does this mean? And you go to Google or you have a dream interpretation book and you look at it, but none of them just felt right. Like it felt like there was something missing about the interpretations that they were giving. And then I've realized that dreams are just personal. It is your own subconscious or whatever it is that is communicating with you. I guess I'd like to hear like kind of what your take is. Is it your subconscious that's talking to you? Is it your spirit guides, or is it all of the above, the universe? What's your feel for it?
Yeah, I feel like there's different types of messages coming from different places depending on what it is that you're needing at the time. So I do believe that they are our own personal messages. It can be our psyche and our subconscious communicating, but it can also be like, how people say, oh, I had a download from the universe. And sometimes in meditation, you might get a message come through. It's like the universe is uploading messages to you, and then it's getting filtered through your subconscious, which communicates to you in your own language. So all three of us may receive the same message from the universe, but it will play out in three totally different dreams because it's trying to speak to us in our own language. I also know and believe that we receive messages from the divine, from people who have passed away on the other side. Dreams are a place where they can come and meet us. And that just gives me goosebumps every time I talk about it because it's so special. People pay to go and see a medium because they want to get a message from someone who's passed away. We don't need to do that. We can request for them to come and visit us in dreams. And it is a place that we can meet and have a legitimate conversation, find out information that we didn't know about before. And it's just such a magical place. When you're talking about dream interpretations through Google, the way that them and the books get their information is because we do have like a universal guide for what symbols mean. And sometimes those symbols do mean that, right? And other times, most of the time, it's a personal association. So when you dream about a cat, you think, okay, what do I associate with a cat? How would I describe a cat? What memories do I have of a cat? What's the purpose of a cat? And you go through and answer these questions, and within somewhere within all of those answers, you'll find the meaning of what it was for you in your dream. But they can be so different. I mean, for one person, a cat could be terrible. They might be allergic to cats. They may have been scratched as a child. For other people, a cat might be really warming and caring and nurturing. For other people, a cat might represent like femininity, like sexual things. So it's never one size fits all. It's always personal. And I think that the reason that there's a problem with Googling or looking in the dream dictionaries first is because you may see something that slightly resonates. And then you'll just go, oh, that's what it means. And then you'll stop searching when really, dreams are very multi-layered. So that one thing that you saw on Google that resonated, it could be partly to do with that, but that might not be at all where the dream was trying to take you. And then the sad thing is then we give up and we stop searching and we don't get the true message.
So it's because we're looking externally and just kind of taking what comes there instead of going within, which is the whole point of a dream anyway, is to go within.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel
I
like,
agree with that as well. Yeah.
do we have anything else we want to talk about dream symbols before we move a little bit of a different topic?
No, no, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I'll
Um,
mention one thing, and it's that with dream symbols, they're usually the guidance within the dream. So we might have a dream or even a nightmare that we feel is bad or warning us, and it could be that you're being chased by someone, and you go, "Oh, well, I know that I'm avoiding something in my life." The dreams don't just highlight what your issue is. And that's what a lot of people think. It's just, oh, yeah, well, I know I'm doing that. So whatever, and you pay it off. But if you look into the symbols in the dream, that's where the guidance is on how you can solve the problem or how to help yourself in your waking life. So don't pay off anything in your dream that you think was just random, because trust me, it's never just random, that every single aspect of the dream is there for a reason.
What about how people feel after they've woken up from a dream? Do you use that as an indicator as well?
Yeah, yeah. So the stronger you feel, like the more emotion that you have when you wake up, is like the stronger the message, or the more important it is for you to work on this dream. Like if you have a dream that you've woken up and you feel really moved by it, don't let this one go.
no, it's beautiful. That resonates. I don't know if this is where I should talk about my flying dream or not. So this week
Yes, let's.
we're talking about feelings after a dream and everything. This week I had the most amazing dream experience of my life. It was absolutely fantastic. It was almost like an out of body experience. Like this is how intense and real this dream was. But I was actually flying and I could like hear the rush of the air going past my ears. I could feel the like air coming through my nose, and I was just flying in a straight line. I don't know where I was going, but I was just having fun. I was just flying. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm flying. I can do anything. Let's do a somersault. And so I did like a flip in the air and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Let's do that again." And I did it like two or three times. And then I woke up. But I woke up and I just had this amazing feeling of appreciation for my body and kind of like that connection to like we're energetic beings having this physical experience. And it was such a profound feeling when I woke up that I hope I can have another flying dream. Do you have like ever had an experience like that or have anything that came through for you as I was talking about it?
Yeah, the part that stood out to me was where you said, I can do anything.
Hmm.
So when we have words, sayings, strong thoughts within the dream, that's a part that people also usually gloss over, but that's the part that I think is the most important. We don't, I mean, in dreams, a lot of things are just visual and emotion. So when there are words or, things coming through like that, it's very important to pay attention. So yes, this dream helped you to connect with your body and feel all of that energy and everything as well. But I think that it's a massive reminder that you can do anything.
Mm,
And
beautiful.
I do have a
Yes.
dream that I resonate with a little bit. I'll tell it. I was on a quad bike driving down the M1, the freeway, and I realized, like, oh, this is a dream because I don't have a quad bike. And I had the same feeling, I can do anything. And I started doing full flips on the quad bike and then landing and then kept going. And it was, yeah, really exhilarating. And I love when you have dreams like that and you wake up and it's like you've had this whole adventure, got to do something that you would never usually do. I would usually be way too scared to do something like that in real life, worried about hurting myself. So it's really fun to have little breaks from your waking life reality where you can do anything and not be afraid of being hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's so great. And being able to do a backflip on a quad, I think that takes it to a whole other level.
Yeah.
Did you have anything happening in your life at that particular time, or like you ever wonder why that particular dream was coming through at that particular moment? Was it a reminder that you could do anything, or was it because something was going on in your life that you got to kind of like celebrate or, something along those lines?
Yeah, yeah. I go through ups and downs with business of thinking like, can I do this? Is this something that people want? Being a dream therapist is very rare. Not many people do it. And I have, ups and downs of, sometimes I might have no one contact me. And then all of a sudden I get a huge influx of people. And it felt to me because I was on a road, the freeway, going very fast. It was like, that's like my journey, my life's purpose. I felt like I was going in the right direction at an extremely fast pace. And because I was on a quad bike, that's very different to all the other cars, so I felt like it was resembling my journey as a therapist. And the cool thing was that, I had the strength and the idea to do something different. And it did remind me, yeah, I can do anything. Yeah, I am on the right path. And, I can make it as fun as I want to. I think I get a little bit bogged down sometimes because some of the work I do can be quite heavy and it can be very serious. And it was a reminder to have fun and enjoy the ride.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, lovely. Um, where would you like to go, Sarah? Where would you like to? Oh,
Uh,
I've got a question.
okay, good. Because then I got one.
I've heard you mention about a TV show that you're starting, the DreamHub TV show. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So we've filmed 12 episodes so far. And basically, I'm explaining and teaching people the power of dreams, how they can use them in their life, how you can remember more, how you can lucid dream, how you can interpret your dreams. And then I also took the show with me overseas to the International Association for the Study of Dreams conference in the Netherlands. And I interviewed a ton of experts. We get to hear their dreams. We get to hear their idea between, like, around different types of dreaming, yoga nidra, all that type of a thing. The reason that it hasn't been released yet is because I have three different networks that want it.
Oh,
So it's a good
it's
problem to have. I'm getting frustrated because I just want it out there to the people, but I have to wait for the right opportunity. We've got one more meeting to go with another one before we decide where we go. But in the meantime, we have taken snippets of all the episodes to do with lucid dreaming and we've put together a documentary. So that will be getting released very, very soon, like in the next few weeks on a streaming platform called New Reality. So I will let you know when it comes out and share it with you so that you can watch it.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, that's good to know because the podcast I listened to, and it was just you talking about like what you're doing in the future and that sort of stuff, and that's where I heard it. And I was like, I couldn't remember what the date was, so I'm like, oh, it must be out now. So I just been like
Yeah, we're
looking
getting there.
and Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited.
On the
Me too.
topic of lucid dreams or lucid dreaming and, it being a tool to help you work through things that you're having to work on, how long did it take you to kind of master lucid dreaming? I think that would be a good question to answer for our audience.
To master it,
And have you
maybe a
mastered it? Maybe
year.
that's the question to ask too.
To like master it, I think about a year. To have my first lucid dream from when I started learning about it, it only took maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But there's so many things to know within a lucid dream because when you first start out, you can lose lucidity very quickly. It's sort of like when you first start meditating. It's hard to keep the mind quiet for a while without it wandering off. It's the same thing with lucidity because it's our awareness. So we need to sort of learn how to focus our awareness so that we can, stay lucid because it's very easy for a dream character to come up to you and start talking and take you off somewhere. And then all of a sudden you forget and you're back within the dream doing whatever all the weird stuff is that's going on. And it's also very easy to wake up from excitement. So, because I mean, you guys have had lucid dreams, it's like you're in a dream and everything's all la di da di da, you're going along with it all, and then bam, you get lucid. And it's like you kind of get plopped into a whole new realm of it's like everything becomes really vivid, and all of a sudden you can, all of your senses become alive, and it's very exhilarating. And the first few times I'd become lucid, I would just wake up from excitement. So that's where when Lana taught me about grounding, that really helps to lengthen the amount of time that you can be in the lucid dream. So what I mean by grounding is she would say to scan the room, start touching things, like bringing in your senses and kind of try and stay still and not let whatever's happening in the dream drag you away. I would still find it difficult even just doing that because I was then getting distracted by objects and things like that. So I created my own thing to do, and that was to just sit down. So I'd be in the dream standing up, wandering around, whatever, at a party or something. I get lucid and I go, oh, okay, I'm lucid. So I'll just sit on the ground cross-legged and feel the ground with my hands. And then if dream characters would come and try to get me to go away or do something, because I'm already sitting, that's also another reminder that no, no, I'm lucid right now. I need to just stop and observe, which was really helpful because I don't know, I have ADHD, so my dreams are very busy and my characters are always yapping away trying to get me to go and pull my mind in different directions.
It's a
So yeah.
very
Yeah, cool.
interesting,
That's yeah.
very interesting tool. And so when you sit down, like the dream is still happening, you're just kind of literally just enjoying the dream, but without being an active participant in the dream.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So because people love lucid dreaming because you can change what's going on in the dream. But I feel like we don't always necessarily need to do that. A good thing about being lucid in a dream that's already happening is that you can then observe and take more note of the details that are going on. Because what I see is that that is a message that you need. That's something that's your subconscious or the universe has concocted up for you, specifically for you. So I feel sometimes people use lucid dreaming as a way to sort of bypass, the messages or the healing that's trying to come through to you. It's not just for flying and just for fun and like, oh, well, I don't like this dream, so I'm going to leave or I'm going to change it because then you're not truly getting the message. I do like to still ask questions and speak to the characters, but sometimes the characters say things that aren't very helpful or they don't make any sense to you at the time. So the other thing that's really powerful is just to ask a question out to the dream itself, like up to the sky. And then you can like ask to be shown an experience, like I want to feel abundance, I want to feel love. And then you can see things start to shift and change in the dream to give you what you've asked for. Or you can just ask for a specific question, like, why am I like this? Or whatever it is. And a lot of people do report like a booming voice will come down and tell them the answer. or yeah, the dream will just totally shift and something will be presented to show them what they've asked.
Well,
Yeah,
hearing you
that's
talk,
really good.
I was gonna say, hearing you talk means I need to. I thought that I do a good job with my dream work, but there's so much more that I can get out of my dreams, and I'm really excited to work on that. When I hear you talk about your lucid dreams, I guess I should first preface this. Biljana and I have talked a little bit about lucid dreams in past episodes, and we, for us, we feel that there's like kind of two levels to lucid dreaming. There's the initial level where you're just kind of you're in the dream and you know it's a dream, but you don't really have control or can influence it. It's just you know you're dreaming. And then the next level is then when you can control. But from everything you're talking so far, it seems like you have the control.
Mm. And there's multiple levels. There's more than two. I think there's about four different levels to
Oh,
it.
cool.
It's like you said, something weird's going on. I think I'm in a dream, but you can't do anything. Then there's a level of, okay, I can control myself. So I can ask for something or I can change something. Then the next level is that you can, be interacting with the characters and have them change. So let's say like a monster comes and you go, turn into a kitten, and it shrinks and turns into a kitten. That's like the next level. And then the highest level above that is like a really transpersonal lucid dream where like what I did where you sit, you ground, all of the surroundings around you become 10 times more vivid. So even in a lucid dream, some things are still a bit not quite stable. But when you're able to really stabilize the dream, it can last for what feels like in the dream space 3, 4, 5 hours of lucidity, right? Where you guys may have had your lucid dreams and it felt like it was maybe 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes only 1 minute. But when you can get to the highest level of lucidity, I've had dreams where I've been in England exploring the streets, going on this whole tour of the town that lasted for a whole day, from morning to evening. And I woke up and it was like I was asleep for 3 hours, but in the dream space, I was there for 8 hours and I was lucid through the whole thing.
That's absolutely
Yeah,
wonderful.
wow.
Um,
Yeah, I just wanted to ask him, and Sarah and I have talked about this, and I've heard from other people, like when you're becoming aware of your dream, I feel like that's also you're questioning your own life when you're awake, like questioning your reality, questioning, the things like how you've been brought up and your environment around you. I think that kind of then filters into your dreaming as well. Do you agree with that?
Like the questions that you ask yourself while you're awake filter in.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And so it is important, like, you know how you can have a question prepared as you're falling asleep, like when you're setting your intentions before bed. It's good to have something that you'd like to dream about, but remembering that intention so that when you get lucid within the dream, you can also then ask for it as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I suppose just learning things, even just about health and just the power of like what we have when we are awake and having our own authority and that sort of thing. When you're awake and you're really learning all these sorts of things, I've found that it's helped me when I'm dreaming. So at the moment, I was feeling there's a big shift and I'm a bit stuck in like while I'm awake. So I'm not really dreaming and I'm not really remembering my dreams as well. So I think, yeah, that they correlate quite significantly in that way as well. So yeah,
So you feel like you're stuck in your waking life, and that's why you're not having
yeah,
dreams? What do you
yeah, I
feel
think
like you're
so. Yeah.
stuck with, if you don't mind
Well,
me asking?
no, that's right. I suppose because I'm in a transition, like Sam, we're both moving, like moving towns. Well, I'm moving like 5 hours away, so like changing my whole life around at the moment. So it's kind of letting go of my old way of old patterns and that sort of thing. So I feel like shouldn't say stuck, but maybe it's where I need to be at the moment to really sit with the present moment and that's where I feel like I'm not letting that happen and then I'm not dreaming as well. So feeling stuck in
Mm.
my dreams as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could then set the intention or ask your dreams at night before you're falling asleep, show me what I need to help deal with this transition. Or how could I
Yeah.
make this easier on myself? Because I
Yeah.
think sometimes when you're stressed and you've got a lot going on, it's hard for you to remember dreams, or it's hard for your dreams to come to you because there may be so many different things that they want to bring to you. And maybe because you're so overwhelmed, you're not really ready to hear any of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's
Yeah.
emotions that you need to process, but you're kind of trying to suppress them because you've got so much going on. So if you give a really clear intention and it's something where your dreams feel like they can help you, they're going to come back to you if you're willing to hear what they have to say. So being really
Yeah.
clear and just asking for something like a healing dream. Can I please have a healing dream? Give me a healing dream. And you keep saying it as you're falling asleep, and I will write you down in the morning. Like letting your dreams know that you're going to write them down. You're not going to pay them off. Then they'll start to
Yeah.
come back. But especially, yeah, they want to help you. So give them some guidance on exactly where you want the help.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a good reminder. Like I have done that before. I suppose, you just wake in life, you just so many things are going on, you just kind of forget sometimes. So that's good advice. So for those that have the same problem or getting distracted with certain things, it's a good reminder. So thank
Mm,
you.
that's okay. Or even like when you're saying you felt a bit stuck in your waking life, each time that you are awake and you're doing stuff in life, and then you kind of feel that resistance or like, oh, I'm feeling a bit stuck, um, stop and check if you're in a dream. Say, am I in a dream right now? And then if you were in a dream right now, what question would you ask to the dream? So if you're not sure why you're feeling stuck, it could be, why am I feeling stuck? So ask that constantly throughout the day, anytime you feel that way. And then when you have a dream, and because dreams are reflecting how we're feeling during the day, you might have a dream where you're stuck in the mud or something like that. And you'll go, oh, I'm feeling stuck. Am I in a dream? And then all of a sudden you'll become lucid. And then you'll know that your question is, why am I feeling stuck? And you can just say that out to the dream and see what happens for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have anything, Sarah?
I was just gonna say I really like that advice because it's almost like pre-programming what you want your dream state to be, kind of, or how you want it to come across. So that's really cool. And I guess kind of in that vein, you talked about how it took a couple weeks for you to really learn how to lucid dream, and then, much longer than that to fully master it. So what was your intention before you would go to bed? Was it kind of just how you described with Biljana a little bit, but more focused on lucid, or?
Yeah, so it started during the day, and I would set hourly alarms on my phone to
Oh,
check
wow.
if I was in a dream. And every time it would go off, I would stop, see where I am, who am I with, and I'd scan the room from left to right, just observing everything. And I would think, if I was in a dream, what would I do right now? And I'd spend maybe 2 minutes just doing that each hour. And then what happened was, because I did it so often for, say, a week, I automatically started doing it within the dreams. So I didn't even know I was in a dream. There was nothing that set me off. I just became aware as I was in the dream in my mum's lounge room, and I was scanning the room going, am I in a dream? Everything looks normal. And then when I got to the right side of the room, there was a waterfall coming out of the wall in her lounge room. And I was like, oh, whoa. I didn't even realize I was dreaming for one. I automatically started doing my reality check, and now I'm lucid. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I looked to the left and my husband was there, and I was like, hey. And I thought, hey, let's try some sex. But then I woke up from excitement. Nothing happened because I was all like, and that was like before I knew about grounding and having good intentions. So that's the thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do within the dream. I just wanted to get lucid and see what that felt like. The
Yeah.
other things,
Cool.
so then that's when I started to do intentions. Okay, when I get lucid, what is it that I want to know? Or what do I want to experience? And I had been doing a lot of shadow work and trying to find out why I am the way I am and all of these things. It's quite exhausting. So my intention for the next time was that I wanted to ask the dream to show me what it feels like to have unconditional love. I just wanted to like fill up my love cup. And then I was in a dream and my ex-partner was there. He was quite violent and he was like trying to scare me and he was like pushing walls around, being like, "Oh, I'm so strong. I'm going to come and get you." And because my emotions rose so much, I checked, "Oh, I'm in a dream. This is okay." And so I scanned the room, saw a door, opened the door, and just set out to the sky, "Show me unconditional love." And then all my friends showed up and were like, "Come on, Mel, we're going to a Blink 182 concert. Let's go." And I got to go along with them to a concert. And I'm standing there in the crowd, like, "Whoa, this is the best." And I just had this overwhelming feeling of unconditional love and that, you can choose your own adventure in life. You don't need to be stuck somewhere where you feel fear. You can choose to go and get love. And the thing that it really shifted for me in my mind at the time before the dream, I only believed that you could receive unconditional love from either your parents, your family, or your partner. I knew that you could give it to yourself, but I just hadn't really got to that stage yet. It was something that I understood in my mind, but I'd never felt. And I also realized it can come from friends, it can come from music, but there was that feeling of being in like a mosh pit with thousands of other people, and that felt to me like it represented like collectiveness and oneness with everybody and with the world. So I woke up feeling completely different. My mind was open to all these other aspects where I could find love throughout the day and just understanding that there's the oneness and collective consciousness and that there's love all around us. You just have to be open and asking and looking.
Yeah,
Absolutely
wow.
amazing.
That's yeah, so good. Oh, I just feel happy now just hearing that. And that's such a great intention and great question to ask because we don't normally think of just something so simple as like unconditional love, you know. A lot of us, probably 100% of people around the world have had some sort of trauma or like what's the word? Misrepresentation of love during life. So it's good to come back to that. That's something so simple. Um, and that can be a catalyst to like try and figure out so many other things in your life. You know, it could be the snowball effect. And rather than asking like, how can I figure this situation out? Like, or how can I make more money? Or what kind of business should I start? You know, you're asking something that's true to you. And such a great thing. So thank you for sharing that. That's really good.
You're welcome. I like as well that, when we feel something in a dream, the feeling sticks with us. So then now, like that dream was probably maybe 2 years ago, but now I can still just remember it straight away and the feeling comes back instantly. And
Yeah.
so that happens with bad dreams too, though, unfortunately. Not that any dream's a bad dream, but the feeling that can come from it can be uncomfortable. So it's
Yeah.
really helpful. And that's why I love lucid dreaming to be able to shift it. Because if I didn't get lucid in that dream, and I had my ex-partner there assaulting me. I had PTSD from it. That's where the nightmares can really affect you during the day, the next day. But with that little shift that I had in that dream, I was able to turn trauma into love, and I'm still able to draw on that feeling of love. And when I take action from that dream or I honor that dream or I want to feel love at any time, I can call my friends. I can play Blink 182 and dance around and just sit and feel that feeling. And then you're changing your whole vibrational frequency. You're going from a low victim trauma frequency up to vibrating at love, which for me, that's the most healing, amazing feeling that you can ever be at. And when you're vibrating at the frequency of love, you're emitting that to others. So, yeah, I love that. And it is very important for us not to only use dreams to sort of think of trauma or trying to heal, think parts of us that we feel are broken, because we're not broken, right? We
Yeah.
have little bits that are stuck or blocked here and there, and dreams can help release that. But I love just using them in a positive way to help us in our future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So amazing.
I
I
agree
could
with that.
I could listen
It's
to you talk all day and share all these bites of wisdom. It's fantastic. And one thing I just want to highlight, talked about a little bit ago, but you had mentioned how, as you're setting the intention to throughout the day to be like, oh, am I dreaming? And it's just, programming it's really changing your programming, right? But you're programming your mind to check in, be aware of your surroundings, and question if you're dreaming. And if you were dreaming, what would you do? Because you get to choose your own adventure, and one that can tie over into your dream life. But I think it's actually super profound, even as an activity to do just during your waking day, because, like you said, if you're in a little bit of a rut and you're in a little bit down, but you're like checking in, okay, if this is a dream, what would I do? And you just have to like literally flip the switch. And you talked about how you converted trauma into love. Being able to do that in your waking life, I think is super awesome. And I think this is why dreams are so important, because when you have those tools in your belt, under your belt, we're just going to have massive healing across the world, really, and the collective conscience. And this is where we need to go as, I don't know, as souls, as collectively, this is where we need to go, is to have that collective healing. And what you're doing is really great to bring that to people. So,
Thank you. Yeah. And so the aspect that you're talking about is called lucid living. And so I
ooh,
love posing those questions to people as well. Like, if I'm chatting with people or doing a therapy session or something, sometimes I'll just say, all right, and if we were in a dream right now, what would you do? And it always changes people. Like they'll go, oh, whoa, and start looking around and thinking differently. And it's a reminder that like life is a dream, and we actually are all dreaming all the time. We're daydreaming all the time. We can create our own realities. You can choose to do whatever you want in this world. So, like your dream was saying, you can do anything. Why not do what you want to do? We have a bunch of limiting beliefs and programs that have been built into us that stop us and hold us back from doing the things that we want to do. And we are programmed, for survival to live in fear and to look for the negative. But by asking us these things, like, what would you do if you're in a dream? What is it that you want to feel? What is it that you want to do? It really propels us forward in life. And I found from living this way, like, I had my 5-year goal was just to attend an IASD conference. And I wrote that for in 5 years' time. And when I started living like this, lucid living, lucid dreaming, not only did I attend a conference within 6 months of planning that goal, I then was offered a job to work with IASD. And I was offered to film a TV show that I brought with me to IASD. So not only did I reach my 5-year goal within less than a year, I've exceeded it by far. And I find that that happens with a lot of people when we start sort of not only waking up within our dreams, but waking up within our life to the possibilities of what we can do. You can go way further than you ever dreamt that you could, more than you ever imagined. It's just constantly waking up because we are sort of programmed to fit in boxes, do as we're told, blah, 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 earn a good job, blah, blah, blah. But it's not what lights you up inside or what you truly want to do. So just keep asking yourself, am I in a dream right now? If I was, what would I do? And that might even change not just what you're then going to do in your lucid dream, but the action that you're going to take that day.
yeah, that's
yeah, yeah.
amazing. I've never heard of this concept of lucid living until this conversation, and that explains so much. And I'm very excited. So I can't thank you like for coming on and not only talking to Biljana and I, but also sharing your wisdom with our very small but growing audience.
You're welcome.
Um, I do have some dream question symbols in particular. These are things that come up for me that I thought, well, you have a lot more experience in this than I do, so maybe you have some insights. I know that, again, things are personal to individuals, but I feel that you're intuitively tapped in, so you might have some insight. Something that reoccurs for me I don't know how often, but it comes up more than once in, a couple weeks, a month or something like that. Having a dream, going on about my day, and then all of a sudden I'm looking for my car and I can't figure out where I parked my car. I'm like, oh, I parked it over here. No, and I'm having to like walk all around town trying to find my car. Or, and this one hasn't come up in a while, it's more my car now, but it used to be that I'd be like at a friend's house or some gathering somewhere, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go. Oh, where's my shoes? And I spend like a massive amount of time in my dream looking for my shoes, and I can't find my shoes.
Hmm.
Any idea why I lose these things and I can't find them? What does that mean in my
Yes.
waking life?
Okay. So I don't want to just tell you what I think. I want to ask you a few questions.
Sure, I love that sort of teaching.
Let's start with the shoes. What do you use shoes for?
To walk around, protect your feet.
Hmm. To
Uh,
walk around to get you to places?
yeah, I would say.
Yeah. Cool. And what do you like? How would you describe a car? What do you use a car for?
Also to get to places, to
Hmm.
to drive, to
Yeah.
go the distance. Also, again, to protect you from weather and, that sort of thing. And to get there faster, I guess, faster than your shoes.
Yeah. So the things that I see that are similar with these two of these symbols is that they are to protect you and to get you to where you want to go.
Hmm.
So the way that I would see that is it's like you could possibly be trying to find your vehicle or the thing that is going to be your thing to take you to where you want to go. And so I
Hmm.
know that I used to have similar dreams before discovering that I would be a dream therapist. So DreamHub is my car or is my vehicle, right? And so it may be, do you feel like you're still trying to find your vehicle or your one thing that's going to take you on your path or your life's journey?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting closer. But definitely, I work the job I work at the moment, it I do enjoy it to a point. I enjoy more of the balance, the financial that comes from it, the, health benefits and all those sorts of things. But I look at applications all day. It's just me and my computer. I'm not interacting with people. I'm not, you know, I am helping the world in some way, but it seems like, not in a very profound way in helping people grow, heal. Definitely this
Mhm.
podcast has been game changer for both Biljana and I. We connected in November, and just got on a schedule where we literally record every week now. It's super fantastic. We love it, and we know that what we're doing here has a lot of potential. We've talked about offering dream courses, writing books, and myself too. I also work a little bit on energetic healing, and I've done a couple sessions like that with just kind of like a friend or something, and I've helped heal them in some way. So I feel like I'm on my way, but probably not quite there yet.
Mhm.
It's happening. It's transitioning, maybe is the word to say.
So what you could do is each time you put your shoes on in your waking life, each time you go to your car to get in your car, check if you're in a dream, and then ask the question, like, what is my vehicle for success? Or
Mm.
what does my car represent? And see if that carries through into a dream, and then see what the answer is that it gives you.
Beautiful. Just taking a note there.
Mhm.
That one I definitely need to note down. Oh, thank you. I never thought about like the losing the shoes and losing the car or yeah, not finding a car. And sometimes I find the car, but it takes some time. I never found my shoes though. That has never happened. Or I found shoes and I'd be like, these aren't my shoes.
Mm.
Which now
So
is
for
making
me,
me thinking that finding
oh
shoes that
yeah.
aren't my shoes, then that means I'm doing something that isn't fully what I'm meant to be doing in the moment. So I don't know
Yes.
if that's what you were gonna say, but
Yeah, what I was going to say is whenever I'm dreaming about my shoes, it's when I'm wondering about what the next step should be that I take.
Oh, yeah. Next step. I like that too. But but yeah, I never thought I always wondered, that's why I asked you, but I
Mm.
never thought that losing your car, losing your shoes is talking about because you're looking for the thing that's going to take you along on your path and what that the dream is really getting me to question what that is or figure out what that is. But it's not exactly telling me what it is.
Were there any other symbols or anything else happening in the dream that you remember that stand out?
So the most recent one about the car was really re- like a few weeks ago for sure, and I still remember most of the dream. But it was funny because the part about the car, um, that was part of the dream, but then there was another part of the dream that I thought was a little bit more like it was kind of like a healing part of it. So it went through a lot, but I'll there's two main things that happened. One was I was walking along and I happened to run into um it was like my mom's, it's a weird thing. My mom's boyfriend's sister. I ran into her and her husband and they're like, "Oh, we need help with our this paperwork. Can you help us look over this paperwork?" And there was something about an email and some paperwork they didn't understand it or something along those lines. So like I'm having this conversation with them and I remember looking at the paperwork and being really confused by the paperwork. Um, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I've got to go. And I like gave the lady a hug. And the one thing that stood out, and I have no idea why this was, but she was covered in cat fur of all things. And then I walk down the street and I'm like, oh, my shoe's untied. And I start tying up my shoe, had them on this time. And I had the thought that came in my head, and for some reason I was like thinking about as a kid, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, like a lot of time with my grandmother, and not as much time with my mom. And well, both of them have since they passed about 10 months apart. But my mom passed away just over a year ago. And so when I woke up from the dream, I had this realization. It's like, oh, I'm holding on to guilt for not having spent time with my mom and having spent time with my grandmother. So that was that part. But then there was also, as part of that dream series, I guess, because it all happened in the same night, was also where couldn't find my car. And I had like walked past many streets. I'm like, I'm sure it was up this street. And I had to walk all the way down and then walk all the way back. And then I found the car.
Mhm. And so, how would you describe your mum's boyfriend's sister?
How would I describe her?
Yeah,
Ooh.
like what's her personality type or what does she do for a job?
She doesn't exactly have a job.
Mhm.
But she's definitely somebody who, if she could help anybody, she would. Like she really, like I know that like, for instance, if somebody, you know, I don't know, if the family member having to go to the hospital and needing, money to help them make that transition, travel, food, whatever it may be, then she like organizes within her community to get funds for that person. So she's kind of that community type person.
Mhm. Interesting. And the covered in cat fur thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not
And
sure.
I don't even know why it stood out, but I just remember like she's literally had cat fur everywhere.
Yeah. And so,
And it wasn't like
like,
it didn't put me off or anything. It was just something I had noticed.
yeah. And what did you feel about the cat fur, or how would you describe it?
I mean, it was white, but I don't know if that's relevant. Um, I don't know. I guess it just like she's a cat person. I don't know what really kind of
Hmm.
it's something that stood out to me because I'm like, of all the things in the dream, why was that?
Hmm.
Why was she covered in cat fur and why was I noticing it? But
Hmm.
to answer what that represents, I'm not really sure.
Hmm. And so you're a cat person.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So if it were my dream, I would feel like she was some kind of a clue or a guide about, helping you to get to your vehicle, or what's your purpose, or what are you meant to do. I love that you say that she would like get the community together to raise funds to help people. That could be like a big hint on what you could be doing. So if you're wanting to go down the path of being an energetic healer, or, running dream groups, or, doing things like that, perhaps it is that you doubt that you could do it on your own, but taking on the guidance of the way that she does things, and it's that you don't need to do it all on your own, that you can get the community together to raise funds to do something. The cat fur may have been to link it to yourself, or like you like
Mm.
cats, you might want to pat a cat. It might be like a way of your subconscious trying to get you to like bring her closer, or for you to identify that there's a link between you and her.
Hmm. Yeah,
And the
no,
guilt part,
yeah, I just
sorry.
want to continue. That would be an interesting way to bring that forward because, I've met this person before in real life, but I don't really talk to them. I don't really associate much with them. I don't really have like a bond to them or anything. But that's a very interesting way to put that out where it's not necessarily what she's doing, but how she's doing it, like involving the community. And then the cat for being a link to me. This is like, I'm so excited for my next lot of dream work because you've just kind of like have laid out little ways in how you can link the symbols in your dream together and through asking those questions and whatnot. It's really, really helpful.
Mm,
Okay, so the guilt.
mm.
Yes, please.
You're welcome. So dreams often highlight what's blocking us as well.
Okay.
So, you're wanting to find your vehicle, you're wanting to find the way to get to where you want to go. This lady's there. I see that as a big clue as to how you can get to where you want to go. And then the guilt about your mum and your grandma, this could be the thing that's blocking you
Hmm.
from potentially, seeing what you can do in the future, or having the strength within yourself to get things started, is that there may be this emotional blockage that's holding you back.
Interesting. I love it.
So when you realized that in the dream, was that at the same time that you were tying your shoelace?
Yeah, the guilt and the tying my shoelace were at the same time.
Hmm. So I see it as kind of the opposite to cutting ties. When you're trying to say goodbye to someone and you're cutting ties, whereas you're tying the shoelace together, you're tightening it up, you're putting it back in place. So that might also be a hint about how you can drop some of the guilt. Know that even though you spend a lot of time with your grandma, it didn't mean that you don't have a strong tie to your mother.
Mm, mm. Yeah, no, awesome. I definitely, when I woke up, like of everything that happened in the dream, that was the part that stood out to me the most. And it was more like forgiving. I went through like this whole process when I woke up of forgiving myself and, you know, and to be honest, with this dream work, and we talked about, you know, having relatives that have passed on be able to come and visit through dreams. Honestly, I spend more time with my mom in my dreams than I got to in all of my adult life because, I didn't live in the same province as she lived in, and I was going to school, and it was really expensive to get flights to come home. So I didn't get to see my mom too much during, like all through my 20s and whatnot. So, and she also wasn't the most healthiest of women, so she wasn't able to like travel and that sort of thing. But like I actually got to spend real quality time with her in my dreams, which is super, super awesome. Um,
It's
I,
really beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
You
it's
can you can use that as a lucidity trigger to be able to communicate with her more. So when you're going to bed, you could say, "Next time I see my mom, I'll know I'm in a dream with her."
oh,
Okay. And then plan something that you want to say to her, a question that you might want to ask. Sometimes people think that it's our psyche just making up that it's them to try to heal us, which in some cases it is, but in a lot of cases they are real visitation dreams. And you can ask her something like, prove to me that it's you.
Mm.
And I've seen cases of people being like, "Oh, well, ask your auntie about the room at the back of her house." And they're like, "Okay, that's weird." Go and ask the auntie, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, when we were children, that's where we'd all play. Like, I miss that room." And it's really specific, and it's something that you didn't even know about. So people are having these experiences, and it's evidence or proof that that is that person coming to visit you. And so, yeah, you could ask her for an experience like that. You could tell her, like, I wish I got to spend more time with you. I'm feeling guilty about that, and see what she comes back with. And that may be a real way of you healing, this guilt that you're feeling. And then when we heal stuck emotions, our minds open up and we are able to have a lot more creative ideas flow in. So then that may also give you a lot more clarity around what you're going to do in the future.
Fantastic. There's a reason you do what you do.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
How are we going for time for you, Melissa?
I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. I've only got like maybe one or two questions, and then I'd like for you to share like what you do as well, like so people know what you actually do. And I know you do like a dream circle. You do that. You're still doing that every month. So I think I'm joining.
Yes,
Is it this Wednesday? So I'm
it's this
gonna jump
Wednesday.
on that.
Yeah. So I've got
Yeah,
2 time sessions because I
yeah,
have a lot of people all around the world that come. Um, and yeah, it's once a month, first Wednesday of every month. But if you're on the north side of the world, it's a Tuesday for you guys. And it's free. You bring a dream along. You don't have to have a dream if you just want to observe. That's totally fine. Everyone's welcome as well. And what we do is we go around the Zoom room and we share our dreams. And then I open the floor for you to all ask each other questions about the dream so that we can collectively interpret it. And it's like I give you permission to project your experiences onto the other person of like, oh, well, when I had a dream with that symbol in it, and this is what it meant to me, or like asking questions of the parts that you felt stood out. And then at the end, I will step in and fill in any gaps that I feel need to be filled. It's a great way to have your dream interpreted, even though, I can teach people to interpret their own dreams. We all have a part of our mind that likes to sweep things under the rug, and you like to sort of not pay attention to certain parts. And when we have it done as a group, it really highlights parts that we may be missing. So yeah, it's really, really fabulous. And it's just fun also to hear other people's dreams and what they're dreaming about.
yeah, exactly. And because we're each other's teachers, like in so many different ways. So to get just an insight from someone else, like regardless if they've had the same experiences, it's really good. It's like having just normal conversations with people, and you may not agree with them on everything. But there might be just that one thing that they say, and you just like you start thinking about it, and that could be, the stepping stone you needed to understand something else. So yeah, that's really good. I wanted to ask about like past lives or like timelines and that sort of thing. If you want to share any insights on that you have with that.
Yes. So with past lives, we can dream of past lives. Usually, when we dream of a past life, it's because there's something that happened in that past life that's still flowing through to you now and is affecting you now. So, if you do have a dream that you feel like the time is different, like, oh, this feels like the 1950s, or, you're in a complete different country, try to again, you can ask the dream if you're lucid. If you're not lucid, just take as much detail as you can and try to pick up on the storyline of the dream. So what happened? What was going on in the dream? Was that raising any emotion in you that you feel now in your current life? And see if there was a message in there to give you some guidance on what you can do today or where you're
Yeah.
stuck. A lot of the time, the past life dreams are trying to highlight an area that you are stuck or blocked. and wanting you to be able to let go.
Yeah. Do you think deja vu is possibly linked to past lives and different timelines?
Yeah, I do think it's linked to different timelines. I'm not sure about past lives just because I haven't experienced that myself or heard about that. But
Yeah.
what I see deja vu is it's that so we can dream of the future, we can dream of the past. We can travel into the future through our dreams because there is no, like, time is totally different in the dream world. And we are all psychic in that we can all see the future. Through our dreams is the best way to do it because our conscious mind, our logical mind is shut down, and we are like energetic beings that can travel back and forward. When we experience deja vu, there's a lot of different theories on what it is, but what I believe that it is it's that we have dreamt about this moment in time before, and now in our waking life timeline, we're catching up to it. And you feel like, whoa, I've been here before. So some people say it's a sign that you're on the right path, which it can be if you are living in alignment with what your dreams are trying to tell you. Um, yeah, it is a spooky feeling. I do love having that feeling. When I get
Yeah.
that feeling, though, instead of just going, whoa, that was weird, I try to stop and be like, okay, where am I? Who am I with? What am I doing? What's going on around me? Like, are there any synchronicities happening? What's been on my mind today? And try to think of why this exact moment is an aspect that I did remember or that I dreamt about. Why was it coming to me? Because there's always a reason that we remember these little bits, and it might feel just weird and insignificant at the time, but if you step back and look at the big picture, it may be like to congratulate you because you may be somewhere in your life that you never thought that you would have been. It may be like a warning of like, oh, I had this dream, and well, you don't really know that you've had the dream, but that's what it feels like. It could just be a warning to like be more aware. Like, how I was saying, kind of wake up in your waking life because we do sort of sleepwalk through life. So it could be almost like a lucidity trigger, but for your life.
Yeah. And with the episode before this, we were talking about past lives. And I watched this TV show, The Devil's Hour, and it talks in a way, I don't know if you've seen it, but it explains it like there's no past or future. They're like loops. So you're basically looping back on your own timeline, but you're having different experiences depending on the decisions you make. And each loop changes because you've learnt something different. You've remembered something from a past life or past life. And so that was quite interesting, thinking it as a loop, but not like, past and future and then present, like different points. And I was like, that was quite interesting. So yeah, it's kind of opened
Yeah,
my mind
past
up a
lives
little
are
bit.
really interesting. I've done a past life regression with Daniel, the past life regressionist, and we went through 5 different lives, and I had one sort of main theme that kept coming through, and that was that I was suppressing emotions. And so, like, I'd be in this past life and something very traumatic would happen, and I'd kind of get on the verge of tears and then go, oh, no, it's fine, and go and distract myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Ah, I do that. I do that now. So, since doing that, my focus has been on trying to really like stop with an emotion and give it presence. And like, I am someone that can cry at the drop of a hat, but I'll rein it in very quickly and not fully let it go. So that's something that I've been working on since then.
Well, you're more than welcome to cry on here.
I'm good, thanks. But I mean, it also flips around with joy
Yeah.
or excitement. I'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm so happy. And then all of a sudden, zoop, back to normal. So it's just trying to really force that feeling to play out as much as it can or to linger around for as long as it needs to.
Yeah. That's really good. It's just, yeah, bringing awareness to that. Like, and as soon as you're aware of those things, it's so much more helpful. Yeah. So, Sarah, do you have anything to add? You're muted.
I said I was looking at my crazy note of pages in front of me, and I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here today, and I'm I'm feeling good about everything we've covered. I don't have any questions that are coming in for me immediately. Do you have anything else, Biliana, that you want to discuss?
I just want, like, if Melissa, if you have anything else you would like to share, like where for people to find you, and yeah, anything else that your projects or anything that it's coming up that you're doing, if you'd like to share that as well.
Yeah, sure. So you can find me at dreamhub.au or on Instagram, it's dream double underscore hub. You brought up at the start of the episode about night nectar. So
Yes.
I create a sleep and dream supplement, you would call it. It's like a tea, but it's very potent. So it's not like the regular sleepy teas that you'd buy at the grocery store. It's sort of like people are using it to replace their sleeping tablets. So it's a very healthy alternative. It's all organic and natural botanicals, plants that help you to get very sleepy, but also help with your awareness within your sleep. So you will remember more dreams, but because it has blue lotus flower in it, the dreams have more of a positive tone. So that used to be used as an aphrodisiac many centuries ago. So
Yeah.
I've never had people have a nightmare while drinking it. And it's just a really beautiful way to connect in and to help you with lucid dreaming. So, yeah, it's really beautiful and it's just starting to come out at a bunch of shops now. So, yeah, it was something I was using myself and I just was playing around with it myself and then gave to friends and family to try and they're all like, "Can we get more? Can we get more? You should make this." So yeah, I've started doing that and everyone's just loving it. I've just got 5-star reviews. I've never heard a complaint. So I'm now really busy producing that. And you can check that out at nightnectar.au. And yeah. And so the things that I have, like we said, I do the Dream Circle, the online dream group once a month. You can register for that on my website. And I do one-on-one dream therapy. Globally, I do it over Zoom. And that's for like if you have a nightmare you want to work through, you want something to be interpreted, if you're having like repetitive dreams that keep coming back. Um, that's the therapy aspect. And then I also do lucid dreaming coaching. So if you are a strong dreamer or you are just starting to get lucid, but you want some guidance or don't really know what to do, or you're feeling stuck in it, then you can book a one-on-one session with me there. I have an online lesson about how to interpret your own dreams, which comes with a downloadable workbook. And I am now offering sessions for families. So like parents and kids, and you can log on together and it's like interactive. I have a little slideshow and it teaches parents about and children about what their dreams are, what they mean, why they're having them, what they can do with them, how to embrace or prevent nightmares, and so that your kids start to look forward to going to bed rather than fighting off bedtime. And yeah, I found people are
Yeah.
really loving that one too.
Yeah, that's something that I've been looking into, is trying to not educate, but just help younger people, even parents, understand their dreams. And I feel like I'm feeling drawn to maybe do a book for children to start them questioning, not necessarily about the interpretation of their dreams, but
Mm.
to get them to question and then using their intention to help them understand themselves. And so, yeah, I would love for, like, if you want to come back on and talk about your experiences and what you've been learning. So if you're interested in that, maybe in a later time, yeah, that'd be
Yeah, for
good.
sure, definitely. Yeah. I'm quite passionate about it. I have two little kids and so I help them
Yeah.
with their dreams, but I just always wished that, if I had started learning about dreams from such a young age, imagine like, as an adult we're learning about it now and we see how much it's changed our life so far. Imagine if we could start from a child, how, I always had trouble looking externally for advice and, doing what others were doing and things like that. And so dreams really pull you back to yourself and get you to follow your own compass, which I think is really important for young people so that they don't, worry too much about what others are thinking of them or, following the crowd into doing things that they wouldn't or shouldn't be doing. I think dreams are very helpful for that, as well as for kids, like having dreams as like an experimental playground for things like learning how to kiss or doing whatever without actually going and doing it in real life. They can practice at home themselves in a safe way.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
That's
Well,
really
thank you
awesome.
for that.
Yeah. Um, how are you on time, Melissa? Because when you're talking about the kids and dreaming, I had another question come in,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I wanted to get your take on night terrors. I know we've talked about nightmares and how, we can use lucid dreaming to help us be able to see through what the nightmare messages are trying to come through. But night terrors can be quite horrific for young children, especially. My fiance's niece, she actually struggles from night terrors. And, she'll wake up in the middle of the night. She's almost like sleepwalking, doesn't know where she is, and it's just, often very panicky or just screaming or, all those sorts of things. And so I just want to hear what your understanding of them are, where they come from, how they arise, and
Mhm.
how you can flip the switch with them.
Yeah, sure. So when you speak to her the next morning, does she remember it or no?
No, not
No,
usually.
yeah, okay. So usually they don't remember it at all, and it's fine. What you do is don't wake them up. Just be there with them and comfort them, like gently hug her, give her a soft toy. You could say things quietly in her ear like, you are safe, I am here, because they can hear it coming through. They usually never remember them at all. The things that can cause it are like irregular bedtimes. So, setting a time for bed and going to bed at the same time every night can be really helpful. Things like stress from school or TV shows, things like that. So, making sure that you're turning off all electronics a couple of hours before bed. And diet is helpful as well. So, not too much sugar, spicy foods, fatty foods. And going to bed, like, how we like to have a calming routine or setting our intentions. So if you help them go to sleep rather than just being like, okay, night, see you later, and walking off, if you sit with her on her bed, get her to close her eyes, you can talk her through like a visual story so that she can start using her imagination and putting herself somewhere she wants to be. So I say to my kids, like, what would you like to dream about tonight? And they might say, oh, going to the beach. So I say, okay, close your eyes. Like, can you hear the sound of the ocean? Can you feel now you're walking along the sand and it's really warm under your feet. Can you feel that? And you can ask them things like, what else can you see? And they might, oh, there's someone playing with and building a sandcastle. And so you're setting up the scene for them to have an enjoyable experience through the night. Whereas what's happening for a lot of kids is they may go to sleep stressing about an exam at school or, they've been watching TikTok or something and their brains are just really overstimulated or they've had too much ice cream or, you know, maybe last night they went to bed at 7 and tonight they're going to bed at 9:30 and their brains just aren't really closing down in a gentle way at the end of the day. And also understanding that bad dreams or nightmares are normal and they are developmental for children. And so they can be having a nightmare because they're learning independence. So they might dream that both of their parents have died and they're distraught, but it's, their brain's way of teaching them that you're going to need to learn to do things on your own. And so when they're going through these phases of their life, they're going to have dreams. And if they're not integrating the lessons or not understanding it and taking it on board, the dreams get more dramatic and more severe and they'll start repeating. And so that can be quite scary for children when they don't understand what's going on. So if you chat to her about her dreams and let her know that they're trying to help her. You know, sometimes we have a scary dream to try and teach us to be brave or to try and help us to solve problems. And they see it in a positive light, then they won't be so scared. The blessing about night terrors is the kids don't usually remember it, but it is still stressful for the parent and it is still stressful on their bodies because they're in a fear state. So, yeah, I just find the best way to prevent it is those things that I mentioned before, and just making sure that they feel like there's also a time during the day or the evening that they can talk to you about any of their problems and get them off their chest before they take them into bed.
Wonderful. And as somebody who is trying to conceive at the moment, I'm going to keep all of those in my
Yeah.
pocket for the future years that are going to come. Yeah, that's you just have a great way of I can't even put into words what you do, Melissa. You are truly awesome at what you're doing, and I'm so happy that you have agreed to come on and I've got to kn know who you are and what you're about. And everything that you're doing is just fabulous. You know, not just the stuff that you're sharing here with us today, but you know, you do lucid dreaming coaching. You have a dream circle, which I didn't realize I should, if you've got a North America time, I might have to jump in
Mhm.
on that because Wednesday nights work good for me. Although you said it would be Tuesday in North America, I think, right?
Yeah, but that's
It,
okay. I'll send you the link and you can have a look at what time suits you.
yeah, no, that'd be great. What else? You said, you know, you do dream therapy and one-on-one sessions. You've got these family sessions, and then developing the night necker. Like you're just doing everything, all dreams, and it's just beautiful that you get to bring that to help people. It's very awesome, and I'm so happy you came on today to share all that you're doing and to also help me with some of my dream questions that I've had because they've been keeping me stumped for a while. So thank you on all of that.
You're so welcome. And I love what you guys are doing as well. I was extremely excited that there's another Aussie with a dream podcast because we're pretty rare down here, which surprises me considering like Aboriginal culture, they're based on dreams. So yeah, I'm really happy that you're helping me to spread the word about dreaming. And like, I do love doing these sorts of things because not only is it helping you guys, but all the listeners, and then, they could have a dream that then helps other people or they'll share the stories. And I just feel like, the world is going through a phase of healing at the moment. And this is a massive way. If every person was doing dream work, we'd all be so much more compassionate, empathetic, excited, full of ideas. And so, yeah, I'm just so happy to share that. That's definitely what my vehicle is. So, thank you for having me and listening and asking such great questions.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Welcome. Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, we're pretty excited about this podcast, and our plan is, well, we don't have really massive plans, like concrete plans. We're kind of just going with like what we're drawn to. But I suppose like we're trying to get a variety of different people from different backgrounds on because we all dream. So regardless if you're an accountant or you're a therapist or you're an athlete, we all dream. So it's good to get different perspectives and because everyone's got something to share. So that's why we're pretty excited about that. So yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that we've noticed is, you know, somebody who you might never have spoken to dreams about before, but the moment you ask them about it, because everybody dreams, it just like it's a huge conversation starter and yeah, it's been great. Um,
Mm, yeah. And, people that feel comfortable saying to each other, like, oh, did you sleep well last night? But why don't we say, like, oh, did you dream last night? And yeah,
100
you really get to know people on a different level, hey?
Yes, you do. And then you also wonder, what is it that you need to work on sometimes? Thinking about my fiance on that one. You'll have to, if you have time, you'll have to go look at one we did a few weeks ago with Timothy Alguire, who's my
Mhm,
fiance, because he dreams he's had a lot of dark dreams in his life.
mhm.
So I don't know what he's having to deal with.
Get him to book in a session with me
Yeah, right.
then.
I might have to.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, well, I don't have anything else on my list of questions. Do you, Biljana?
No, I'm pretty happy, like pretty stoked with what we've talked about, and yeah, so thank you again for coming on and giving us a chance. So yeah, thank you, and yeah, I'm happy with that, how everything went.
Yeah, me
Awesome.
too.
Thank you.
And I have to say, I was a little bit starstruck at the start, and for the last couple of weeks, I was just telling my fiance, I was like, "We have a really big star coming on our show." So I thank
You're
you.
so sweet.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. I mean, you have your own TV show. I mean, how cool is that? Like,
Yeah.
you jumped in with, wanting to help yourself discover things about yourself through dreams, and you've taken everything you've learned and you are just running as fast as you can, putting out as much information as you can in many different formats that it's going to
Mm.
resonate. If it doesn't resonate with one person in one way, there's going to be another thing that you offer that's going to resonate with them. And I just think that's absolutely beautiful. So again, can't thank you enough. I feel like I've thanked you a million times on this
Mm.
episode, but it wouldn't be enough. Thank you for your time. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here tonight or
Oh, you're
today, I
so
guess.
beautiful. You're gonna make me cry. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're very welcome. Do you have anything you would like to say before I wrap up?
No, no, I've loved this. You guys had awesome questions. It was a great conversation. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your dreams and stories about your life as well. I'm sure your listeners are going to love that. It's nice when they feel like they get to know you.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Awesome.
great. Well,
Well,
thanks, ladies.
thank you, Melissa. Thank you once again for being here. To all of our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this profound episode that we've had today. Melissa is a wealth of knowledge. I highly recommend you check out everything that she has to offer. It'll all be in the show notes. Check out her website, hit her up for a one-on-one session. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And as always, dear listeners, please keep on dreaming.